Hey, have you ever wished that you could get more done in less time so that ultimately you can make more money and have a more successful business while also having more freedom? If so, then stick around and watch today's video through until the very end, as I'm about to share with you the simple 3-step daily method of operation that will allow you to do just that so that you can grow your business while also having an amazing lifestyle. With that said, if this is your first video, my name is Misha Wilson, and over the course of the last few years, I've done over $15 million in total sales with my online businesses. And I've done a lot of things right from a productivity standpoint. And I've also done a lot of things wrong where I've wasted a bunch of time. And in today's video, I want to share with you the routine that works best for me to get the most done in less time to create maximum profit. As always, if you get value, don't forget to go ahead and let me know what your biggest takeaway is in the comments section below. And don't forget to go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that bell icon notification button so that you're notified when I do more videos just like this. With that said, let's go ahead and dive right in.
Welcome to the Misha Wilson Show, where we show you how to create massive success online so you can enjoy the lifestyle of your wildest dreams.
All right, so before we talk about the 3-step process, I want to talk about a trap that I myself got in when I was first getting started in the online world and just entrepreneurship in general. And the trap is confusing activity with production. So oftentimes as an entrepreneur, you need to always be doing something. You feel like you always need to be doing something. You feel like you need to always be busy. You feel like you need to always be working. You feel like you constantly need to be, doing something, or else you're not fully committed to the business. And a book on this topic that I would highly recommend anyone to read who wants to perform at a very high level is a book called The Power of Full Engagement. And essentially what it goes over is it goes over how humans are designed, and the fact that humans are more designed to be sprinters than marathon runners. And if you look at business really never stops, right? It's not like a sporting event where there's build up to the sporting event, like the Super Bowl. You have 2 weeks of build up. Then you go out for 60 minutes and you give 150% for that 60 minutes. And then afterwards you get to rest, right? It's not like a tennis match or a basketball game where, again, the exact same thing holds true. And then there's a full off season, if it's basketball, tennis not so much, but it's another conversation for another day about why tennis players are the most beast athletes in the world. But with that said, with business, once again, literally it's pretty much go nonstop, right? 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, stuff is always happening. And the trap that you can fall in is essentially feeling like all the time you constantly need to be doing everything and becoming more of a marathon runner than a sprinter, which we're really designed to do. And so what I want you to do, in contrast, is I want you to realize that not every single hour that you invest in your business is the same quality and the same impact as the rest of the hours, right? There's the 80-20 rule by Perry Marshall originally. I don't know who created it. I think it's the Pareto Principle. And the 80-20 rule very simply states that 20% of your activities will drive 80% of your results, right? And so if you can spend just time focused on the 20% of activities, you could spend a lot less time on your business, but get much bigger results than if you spend all the time on the 80% and none of the time on the 20. In that scenario, you'll spend 16 hours a day working on stuff that doesn't produce results, and you'll never get anywhere. So understand that not every single hour invested is equal. And what we want to do as entrepreneurs to get the biggest result is we want to have structure and organization around how we can execute upon the 20% most effectively day in and day out, day in and day out. If that means executing for 8 hours a day on the 20%, that is better than 16 hours a day on the 80%. Sure, if you can execute on the 20% for 12 hours a day or 16 hours a day nonstop, then your business will grow faster, but you also might burn out. So be aware of that. But with that said, let's go ahead and dive in to the 3 steps. So step number 1, and this is vitally important. I do this about 90% of the time. When I don't do it the other 10% of the time, I find that my productivity suffers. And the first thing you need to do is plan the next day before the day begins. All right, so the night before you go to sleep, the night before you stop working on, let's say, a Monday, you want to plan out Tuesday. At least spend some time and look at, all right, what are the critical activities that if I get done will allow me to move forward in my business. You want to spend time and look at what the mission of the company is, what gaps are between where you are and where you need to be, what activities you need to execute upon in order to close the gap and essentially allow the company to fulfill on its mission. And you want to get crystal clear on what the highest impact activities are, the 20% of activities that will drive the 80% of results, and at least get a rough outline of the next day. Now, some people get super over the top with this and they'll touch on, scheduling everything out to the minute, scheduling everything out to the hour, scheduling everything out to literally the second of the day in advance. I don't go that, extreme. I need some level of creativity in my day in order to have any flow. But with that said, I do want to know generally what I'm going to be executing upon the next day before that day comes. From there, the first thing that I focus on in the morning, if I'm feeling good and if I'm feeling up to it, and in general, 95% of the time, the first thing that I'm going to execute upon is the hardest thing. All right. Now, it's the hardest out of the 20% of activities. So if I have something that's really hard, but it's not part of the 20%, I'm going to find a way to delegate it. I'm going to find a way to have someone else do it. I'm going to find a way to pay someone else and use the leverage of paying someone else to do that thing that needs to get done, but which is not high leverage. But on a daily basis, I'm going to wake up, I'm going to look at, all right, these are the different things that I have to do today. These are all part of the 20% that I have to execute upon today. And from there, I'm going to start executing upon the thing that is hardest to execute upon early in the morning when I have a bunch of energy, right? I usually have some caffeine in me, my brain's alert, I'm ready to go, I'm awake, I've just rested, and I can kind of, once again, from usually that time between 8 to noon, knock out the hardest parts of my day, depending on, once again, what I have going specifically for that day. Now, every now and again, if I wake up and I feel really sluggish, if I wake up and, oh my God, I don't have any energy, right? If I wake up and just everything feels like a battle, I'll actually reverse it. And I'll focus on the easiest thing out of the items in the 20% first. And what I find this allows me to do is if I execute upon the easiest thing and I start to get some momentum with that easiest thing, I can get one thing done, then get another, and before you know it, I have momentum. And when I have momentum, I can then execute upon that hardest thing, right? So again, 2 different approaches. Usually I'll execute upon the hardest thing first and then go from there. Sometimes I flip it if I need momentum. Then once I have momentum, I hit on that hardest thing. And then from there, the third thing that I do that really helps with sustaining energy throughout a day, right? So the goal is not to have a good 2-hour segment. The goal isn't to have a good, 4-hour segment or a good morning. The goal is to be productive throughout the day. And the easiest way to be productive throughout the day, which is kind of counterintuitive and sometimes you have to force it on yourself as an entrepreneur, is very simply to take breaks and rest. All right, so what I do is, and I learned all of this, just to give credit where credit's due, from Evans Pagan's Wake Up Productive course. I highly recommend it. But again, what I do is I spend 2 hours of focused work, right? So 2 hours of focused work, sometimes just an hour, but usually 2 hours of focused work, and then I take a 15-minute break. Now, sometimes that will become an hour and 45 minutes of focused work with a 15-minute break. And then once again, another 2 hours or hour and 45 minutes of focused work with a 15-minute break. But I want to chunk it down and I want to take breaks, ideally before I burn out. And that's the key. So you kind of have to feel yourself, right? If you're at that hour and 45-minute mark, but you're going to burn out, if you push the extra 15 minutes, step away for 15 minutes and come back once again when you're ready to go and refreshed. So 2-hour bursts of work, 15-minute breaks, and then every 4 hours, and this is the harder one for me personally, I actually take an hour-long break. All right, so usually I'll go grab some lunch. So I'll work from somewhere between 7:30 to noon with a couple of breaks, right? I'll then go grab some lunch. That lunch break will go on for somewhere around an hour. I'll come back around 1. I'll be refreshed. I'll be ready to go. I'll work from 1 to somewhere around 4:35. I'll take a break in between there. And then from there, I'll go to the gym. The gym will refresh me again. And then I can do anything in the evening that I need to do, including planning the next day. So again, 2-hour focused increments of work. Get up to your lunch break, take an hour-long break after about 4 hours, after you've, of course, taken that first break. And once again, this will allow you to not only get a lot done when you first wake up, when you're feeling good, when you're feeling fresh, but it'll allow you to feel that, sustain that feeling of freshness throughout the day so that you can execute and get more done than your competition, and once again, grow your business at record speed. So with that said, I hope you got a ton of value out of this video. If you did, let me know what your biggest takeaway was in the comments section below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that bell icon notification button so that you're notified when I do more videos just like this. And until next time, over and out.